many checks.
No, we did all the right checks.
And balances.
So, what was I going to talk about? Oh, MS. That's a disease. That's a disease you get in the river?
No, man, it's a degenerative disease. I'm not.
Yeah.
You don't get it in the river.
No.
One of those you get in the river, though.
That's like
tapeworms.
TB.
Meningitis.
Oh yeah, meningitis.
That's a river
you can
disease.
get in the river or the
Yes.
shower.
Uh-huh.
It's like I don't quite
A
understand.
water-based
It's bad news
bacteria.
if it's in your college.
Meningitis is like you get that from like someone could cough on you, man.
I don't get
That's like a classic sickness, like
I
the
think
flu.
you're thinking of laryngitis.
No, I know meningitis. There's two different types, and I will go through them right now if you,
know
would
what's
like.
so weird?
Viral and bacterial.
So mono, that's like a middle school, high school
doesn't care.
disease.
in college.
Yeah.
I think you can
And
get
then
it at any time.
meningitis is a college disease.
Well, no, I think you can
meningitis
get it at
will
any
kill you.
time. It just happens in colleges because dorms, like you have a bunch of kids living together,
Uh-huh.
so it spreads easily. I believe.
Oh, okay. Good mono. I always missed out. I missed out on mono. I was
Yeah.
always kind of upset about that.
Yeah, because you weren't kissing women in high school.
I know that.
That's why.
I would
because
kiss my hand.
You were unattractive. What do you would kiss your hand?
I would go.
Practice?
I would kiss my hand to practice. I would put lipstick on the inside of my
No, you
mom's
didn't.
lipstick on the
Jesus
inside of my
Christ.
hand, and then I would talk as
I mean,
it
this
You know,
is
can I say this?
on the fingertips.
Go
To
ahead.
jump in, that legitimately, I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about what if one of your friends killed someone, right? Like really killed someone bad. I was thinking about Anthony. I was like, clearly, I don't think you would kill anyone, but if
No,
you did,
I-
I would be
I
like,
feel too bad.
The signs were all there. The signs were all there. He kissed his hand
Yeah.
with a thing. He lives his own life. He lives refusing to acknowledge genes as a viable option
That's
for
not
society.
enough to be a stone cold killer. The fact that I like comfort over genes.
No, I don't think you'd
not
be.
enough.
I don't
Stone
think you'd
cold.
be a stone cold killer.
Not a stone cold killer.
No, but you might kill someone, and I'd take it on a case by case basis.
Uh-huh.
For the most part, you'd probably be in the right, so I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
But now, if you did something crazy like something snapped and you killed Greg, I also wouldn't say anything, but I'd kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not a stone cold killer. You're not killing for fun.
Uh-huh.
You're killing for like other reasons.
Like
yeah,
what?
something goes crazy. I don't know. Like
Like-
they're out of milk at the coffee shop. And
That's not even
all
what
of a
I'm
sudden the thing went. All of a sudden you went sideways and you killed someone.
Sideways. I mean, I have a snapping capability.
That's
No,
what I
that's
mean.
not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you're killing someone because you finally, the last string that's holding you to Earth is cut, and you just go, well, I'm freeing him to the. He needs to be with the butterfly
Oh,
gods.
really? You're seeing him more as a real mental case.
Yes,
really, not
right.
even
Like one of those dog talkers.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
dog talk.
Lots of people,
Yeah.
like guys out there who all of a sudden they're like, my dog has been telling me things.
Oh, I thought you meant
Yes.
like the dog whisperer.
Yeah, maybe
'Cause-
not even killing people, but like if you just were like one day walking around with a sign on your chest that said like God is my friend and I met him on a bagel.
Well, yeah,
I'd
totally.
be like, oh, that was we saw that building
Because those voices, they're in your head the whole time, and they're just quiet.
not anybody else's.
Nope. What?
You guys, no, you have this too, no?
No, the voices in our head, but you've managed to quiet them down.
Good for you.
Well, they're
good
tiny, and it's a quiet whisper.
Well, Greg, through this comedic bit you've thought of, you have really stumbled upon a problematic situation.
Everyone has this.
No one. How do you know what everyone else has?
Because
the
it's-
voices are telling you.
Everyone in my group has this.
Your brain group.
Yes, my brain group.
Don't worry, Anthony. Everyone else has this too.
Yeah.
So the
That's what
voices
they
have
say.
their own voices.
Yeah, they got another guy. I got two guys. I got the voice guy who's telling me crazy things, right?
Like what?
Just
Yes or
your run of the mill stuff. Buy a sickle, terrorize a neighborhood.
Of course.
And then I got another guy.
You know what's interesting? Buy a sickle sounds like bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and terrorize a neighborhood.
Yeah.
On the bicycle or sickle, we don't know.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 127 of the world famous Rad Dudecast, hosted by two sane men, Greg Stone and Brendan Ayer, and one clearly schizophrenic, Anthony DeVito. You got a bark here.
Arf, arf, arf,
Now
arf.
this
I love that. I love that noise.
Fine. Well, I'll bark because it's our trademark.
barked.
I did bark.
He said this. Lar, lar, lar. Everyone knows he's known for.
That's good, Brendan.
So
That's a trademark, but also lup, 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 lup.
Yeah,
and that's also
a
trademark. That's new. The lup lup. You can follow us on Twitter at the Rad Dudecast. You can join us on Facebook at the Rad Dudecast. After Dark.
Yeah.
And then the Rad Dudecast page on Facebook is starting to get likes. Likes are rolling in, so continue to like that. Eventually, we'll probably shift over the After Dark page to that public page as we continue to grow. But for now, do us a favor, rate the podcast, share it on social media.
One more thing,
If
too.
you're not subscribed, you're an idiot. You
Yeah.
must subscribe.
You must increase your buzz. Get in the Facebook group.
Yeah,
I think we're
Rad
not getting any
Dudecast
action.
After Dark.
Yeah, get in there.
Get in there.
We're all talking.
We'll eventually probably transfer that all over to the public page, but that's when we're talking when we have about 10,000
I don't
people
know
in
that
there.
what you even said means anything.
Yeah.
Transfer it to the public page.
We've got a public page, the Rad Dudecast on Facebook that I've made because
Oh,
that's
a rival
because,
group.
No, it's not a rival
Yeah.
group. No one's
I'm
in
not
that
looking.
group. It's really over there just to get public likes and
No,
stuff
I
like
know
that.
that page.
But eventually we got to move over there.
I'm not looking at you.
But let me ask you this: a couple of plugs. First of all,
I'm not looking at him.
first of all, most importantly, our good buddy Nathan McIntosh, a fantastic comic, lives here in Astoria, I believe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's from Toronto originally. He was on Conan last night, and it was great, man.
Yeah.
So watch, give a search for Nathan McIntosh Conan. His set will come up. Watch it. It was really good.
That was a killer set, man.
And then you guys, how were the shows this weekend? You guys were in Western
Yeah,
Mass.
Whatever. They're good and gone. They were fun.
They were
They
good.
were fine.
They were good
They
and
were
gone.
great.
Fine.
Oh,
good
they were
and gone.
great. But I
Yeah.
got to tell you this weekend to come to my shows.
Okay, well, let's do some plugs. First of all, I need to see you guys February 7th at Caroline's. Get your
Yes.
tickets at carolines.com. It's a 7:30 show. I'm headlining. I'm going to do an hour. Anthony and Greg may show up if they're not otherwise
I will be there.
booked. You
Where,
can
the
use
7th?
Yeah, go to carolines.com.
Oh, yeah. No, I I can't be there because of my show.
No, don't do this. Use promo code Brendan.
Use it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now, Greg, you got shows coming up.
This Friday and Saturday, I'm headlining at the brokerage. in
Okay, and what are the dates
Long
on that?
Island, the 3rd and 4th.
Okay, so
They just asked me, so it's very new.
awesome. So this Friday and Saturday, the 3rd and 4th of February, if you're in the Long Island area,
Swing
catch
on by.
Greg Stone at the brokerage. And now I'm sure you can Google brokerage and get
But if you
tickets
have
for
to
that.
pick one, go to Brendan's because I think that this isn't going to be that fun.
Now,
There are different dates.
they are different dates. I wouldn't pick one. I'd go to
Who's
both.
going to come to all?
Come to all.
Oh,
Come
I
on.
also, I've got my thing too.
Have you ever said an honest thing in your life?
Yeah,
No.
I have.
What?
The conversation that we had earlier about the voices.
I didn't see the movie Split, but I believe that's what you are.
I don't have enough in there. I said it's one guy telling me things, and then it's another guy clarifying.
Yeah.
I saw Split. Shyamalan's back.
Everyone keeps
He never
telling me.
left.
He never left for me either, except one movie I didn't see it.
Oh, Friday night I'm hosting one of my world famous tiki parties at Uncle Jack's.
Uncle Jack's.
Uncle Jack's.
Uncle Jack's is a great restaurant, and I don't want you to drag their name through the blood.
Not
through
only
the
that,
mud.
this is great for me because usually your events happen to coincide with my shows. Luckily, this is Greg's show where you're hosting your.
So Friday night, come down to Uncle Jack's.
All
It's
right.
on 42nd and 6th.
You been there?
Yeah.
That's like my favorite restaurant. It's not my favorite restaurant.
Yes.
you can't
they-
get this detailed with your lies because now people are going to come.
8 p.m.
It's better when it's a non-existent place.
It is. It doesn't. It exists.
Uncle Jack's Steakhouse is a great steakhouse.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
now people are going
So
to
they
try
do
and
a back
go.
room, and
He's
I'm-
not hosting a goddamn tiki party there.
I'm doing one of my world famous tiki parties there.
Yeah.
They've been nice enough. They've heard how successful they've been.
Yeah.
And they want to do one there at Uncle Jack's.
Oh, yeah, and I have a new thing going, and I'm sorry to bring this up
No,
immediately.
it's okay.
Everyone call the Comedy Cellar, and don't be mean, but just say, is Greg Stone performing today? Just ask. The Stand. Call all the clubs in the world. and
That's
just,
pretty good.
Don't be mean, but be
That's
like,
funny.
I'm just wondering because he's like the best comedian in the
Yeah.
world, and we'd love to know if he's performing
That's
today.
funny. I'm nervous that this will backfire on you, though.
What do you think?
I think they've
They've
our
got a
fans.
system
I
in
mean, the
place.
one time that we had someone be like, "Hey, dial up whoever Tony Time is at Gmail." This guy got harassed with emails.
Yeah,
well,
our fans are unbelievable people, and they're rabidly in our corner.
Yeah.
Not saying they're bad or aggressive.
What about if they write
but
letters?
They're supportive.
Okay, write
Letters
letters.
is fun.
Write letters to the
A
cellar.
letter writing
and
campaign
then the
is
stand
great.
to say we'd love to come see Greg Stone.
Also,
Oh,
dude,
that
you
is
go to-
worse.
We think?
Yes, now you're going to have a paper trail. This is
That's so funny.
evidence, really.
What a-
Yeah, I guess.
What a tale of two different brains. Where I was like, that letter, that's what she
Yeah.
letters. Brendan sees an immediate problem with it. And he's
Constantly
right.
rotating in this group.
Yeah.
Someone understands reality. Someone is on the left. Someone is on the right. And Anthony is scratching his head with the
See,
the case that holds the MP3 player.
I couldn't.
And I was wearing it as a hat.
I couldn't help but completely disagree.
With what?
I think there's no rotation. It's
You're-
two people that constantly understand reality. One of those, you, Greg
well,
Stone,
of course, I'm a
who
man.
does enjoy occasionally pretending not to understand reality, but always has a firm grasp of reality. And then a third person who's over there with a piece of plastic on his head for no particular reason.
Get the wall of pillows in the picture too.
Greg's taking a picture of what Anthony is doing right now. He's just put the little plastic recorder case on his head.
I'm doing a
never
lot of
gonna
interesting
snap.
things with fashion right now. This being one of them.
This Week in Fashion was a great series. That didn't last long.
Well, now I've turned that from a series into just that's who I am. So everything I see, I think, could be fashion.
Now, I would be remiss. I want to, and this is not something people come to the Rad Dudecast for, okay? For political talk, they don't. We have to reset the tone. No, there's no reset. Stop. I'm being
coming in
serious.
hot.
Yeah, I'm being serious here. I would
He's too
not.
funny to be right now.
I would not feel okay with
Yes.
myself if I didn't say something here. And I know this could offend. I know for a fact we have some Trump supporters.
And it won't offend. Because who could be offended?
It may offend.
Me,
It may just
I'm
be a
easily
disagreement.
offended.
Yeah.
But let's change it. Maybe it's just a point of view that they don't also agree with.
Yeah, that's fine. But at this point, I won't even get into. Listen, I'm not even going to get to the legislation, the political aspect of,
Yes.
of what's happening right now. I'll let you guys decide that for yourself. I will say this: I'm very frightened for our democracy because we are dealing with a president who has refused to divest himself from his multi-billion-dollar industry in no meaningful way. Every other president. So when you divest your businesses, right, as the president, what you do is you put it into a blind trust, which means someone takes your business.
Yes, I don't understand what a blind
okay, let me
trust is.
explain. Let me explain it to you because
where
it's crazy what he's done, and he's trying to say it's the equivalent. What a blind trust is you take your business. Your business is sold. Your interest in your business is totally sold. You no longer make any money from that business. And then the blind trust takes the money from the sale of your business and invests it for you. But the reason it's called a blind trust
You don't know what they're
is
investing
you don't
in.
know what it's invested in. So you can't make any decisions
Okay.
that benefit your money. So what Donald Trump has done is said, no. I'm just giving my business to my sons to run.
Yeah.
He still owns it.
Of course.
Makes no difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
So basically, we're dealing with a president who, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. Everything he does as president is going to make him money. Really, essentially any deal. So you have that. That is scary to me. Second of all, you have, and this is the scariest thing, the legislative stuff I expected, right? And that's fine. You have differences. He won. He won the election.
Sure.
He's allowed to do these things. I'm
Yeah.
allowed to protest them. I'm allowed to strongly disagree with them. I'm allowed to fight them. But what scares me is there is an unprecedented level of an attempt to discredit, bully, and silence the media, which is exactly
We're the media.
right. Well, and so you have this man, Steve Bannon, who is the Breitbart media guy, and he's rising to unprecedented levels of influence. And their policy is basically, he told the media they need to shut their mouth. They're bullying the media. They're threatening them, and then also they're shutting down internal avenues of information. So all these government Twitters shut down.
That's fascism, bro.
So
for real.
what exactly? That's how a dictator sets himself up. Is by all of a sudden the media is discredited, the internal information sources are shut down. All of a sudden, your only source of the truth is Donald Trump and Bannon, who who have clearly shown their willingness to lie. So this is all political stuff aside, right? So I'm not even getting into the politics of it. It's dangerous, man. It really is. And I'm not a super political guy. I'm a little bit removed from that, but this scares me. And I know we do have some Trump supporters who listen, and I'm not.
And we still love you.
Yeah,
I mean,
I disagree with
I don't
you.
know who you are.
But
I also don't know who they are. They
it
could
scares
kill
me,
us.
man. It really does. I really think. Here's the thing. Take George W. Bush. Okay, he's a guy who I strongly disagreed with on a policy level.
Sure.
I truly do believe in my heart that George W. Bush felt like he was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I really do. And that makes me respect him as a man. I don't think Donald Trump has any fucking you could never imagine him laughing at himself or like having a friend. Like, I really don't think he has
a friend.
Yeah, honestly, think about it. Like, he is.
Yeah.
I think he's a sociopath. I don't think he's never once made a self-depreciating, self-deprecating joke ever. And it's just bizarre. I don't think he has I don't think he cares about what's right or wrong. The Russia thing is scary. Everything's scary, man.
Well, can I tell you I got something?
Yeah.
Or no?
No, of course.
Because people disagree with me on this, but I'm just a futurist, and I believe that this is going to happen. What's going to happen here is, if he is going the way that you believe and the way I kind of believe, really kind of believe, I'm trying to hold back, but the truth is I do kind of think that we're going towards a fascist-type dictatorship, Chavez era, maybe he's going to eventually go for the guns. He will. Now, he's not going to do it quick because right now those are all his people. But eventually he's going to, and when he does, that is when they're going to fucking stop. That's when everybody who was his last reign of people who loved him, and the hipsters and the gun guys, we're going to get together and we're going to combine and we're going to storm the nation.
Well, here's the problem with that, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to ever lose the gun guys. The gun guys are his base of support. Now, it's all, and I said I wouldn't get too much into policy, but it's all a fucking trick, man. Like, it's all smoke and mirrors, like, to build this wall, right?
But those gun guys are not just they're not just gun people. They're very much Constitution people.
Sure.
So when he goes for that, that's when it's really going to click to them, like, oh, this guy is fucking with the actual Constitution.
Yeah, but he also
already is.
Yeah, he already
I know,
is.
but they don't see it because they went with the guns yet.
They're just liars. They're doing this stuff that won't benefit us. For instance, building the wall, right? You see people in Arizona who are politically the exact opposite of me, far right-wing Arizona militiamen who are saying, no, a fucking wall's not going to do anything. There's already fences on most parts of the border.
Yeah.
It's people. You need people there. So to build this wall is just this tremendous waste of money. To say Mexico's going to pay for it and then be like, well, what I meant was they're going to pay for it with taxes. We're going to tax imports. Okay, great. Then all these people who voted for Trump, all of a sudden the shit they buy at Walmart every day is going to go up in price 40%. It's all smoke and mirrors, like the immigration thing that he's doing, which I think is unconstitutional, but that's besides the point. It's not.
Well, explain in plain words what you believe is unconstitutional to our friends who may not agree with you.
Well, because it's discriminating based on religion. It really is, and he says it's not, but it is. It's Muslim countries. But the bigger problem to me is it's all fucking charade. It's not. He isn't banning. First of all, refugees do go through a vetting process.
Yeah.
Second of all, your chance of being killed by a foreign terrorist on American soil is extraordinarily low. Third of all, the one instance of that happening, this ban wouldn't have prevented because most of them came from Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. Fourth of all, a cornerstone of our country has always been like, look, if you want to argue, hey, this makes us a little bit safer. I don't give a fuck. I won't argue that one way or the other. A cornerstone of our country, of what makes us great, is we are not willing to trade freedom. Yeah. We're not willing to trade freedom for security. Yeah. It's to say, oh, this makes us safer. It's like, well, yeah, but there's certain, for instance, we could defeat ISIS in a week if we set aside our morals as a country. We could just bomb the shit out of every town ISIS is in and be done with it, but we'd kill tons of civilians. Yeah. But there's things, we do things that give up a little bit of security, where we say, look, we've always been the place the world counts on us to accept refugees, to give these people who don't have a place to live, who are coming from war-torn countries, we give them a place where they can make it and have equal rights, and that's what our country has been, and that's why we've been held in such esteem by the world. The world sees America as not so much in recent years, but forever America has been sort of the shining star of like, this is the place to go to live and be free, and,
where everybody knows your name,
and he's ruining that, where everyone knows your name. Cheers, Norm. And he's ruining that and trading it for a little bit of what I think is false security. But even if you think it's real security, it's still not worth the trade. Do you think that the people who fund terrorism really, if you're a Trump supporter, I really want you to imagine this. Do you think the people who raise funds for ISIS and other terrorist organizations, most of them are in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, places like that, these fundraisers that shovel the money into terrorism. Do you think they're not fucking giddy about this? They love this. This creates such a tool of recruitment and to be, whether it's technically a Muslim ban or not. This kind of animosity perpetuates terrorism, where these terrorist organizations say, "Look at this! I told you, it's a religious war. Look at this! It's happening. They're doing it, and it goes on. That's not the way you make the world safer. We have always made the world better by being the bigger person, by saying, "Hey, look, you guys do some fucked up shit. You guys do some terrible things. Yes, there are terrorists that are Muslim extremists. Yes, there are portions of that religion that breed hate. There are extreme portions of that religion that breed hate. But you know what? We're the bigger man. We will accept you into our country, and we will welcome you into the fold, because this is America, and that's what we fucking believe in. And it's gone, man, and it's dangerous. Now, I feel dumb saying this on the Rad Dudecast.
What?
Just being political and being real.
No, you're talking about something you believe that I agree with. I think Anthony has a harder time because he's a fake Muslim.
Yeah.
But
no, I think you articulated those points very well, and that's everything that I wrote down for you to say. And I thought you delivered that speech tremendously. You did leave out that one part that I added.
What did you add?
You talk about divesting. I told you how I divested a turkey sandwich yesterday.
Yeah,
that was the only thing you left out. But no, I'm in 100% agreement with you, and I couldn't have said it better myself. But I probably would have. So.
Yeah. It is just hard though, because these people who are supporters, they're not idiots or whatever. But because if I was in their circumstance, if I grew up in the bubbles they grew up in, and because I grew up in my own bubble.
Yeah.
Who's to say that I wouldn't think the exact same things that people do? Because all the information is so fucking clouded right now. Everyone believes that everything is a lie. Everything is like, oh, well, every news station is lying. So you pick and choose what you want to hear. And if your supporting cast is telling you, look, you can pick what's true. So, like, if you're pro-gun, pro-anti-immigration, all this stuff, you're not going to be swayed because you get to choose what information fits your narrative. Now, my narrative, it gets to be fit by what you're saying. But I do believe, as a person that I've done a lot of, but my parents being extreme Republicans, I've listened to what they've had to say, and I've done enough research to what I can do to believe that what you're saying is what I agree with. But these other people who don't, they can manipulate anything anyone says into fitting the narrative that's being told by Donald Trump. And It's terrifying. Because this is the Iron Curtain. We're in North Korea in a different way.
And look,
he wanted to shut down parts of the internet.
Yeah, and look,
he wanted
here's the thing.
He wanted to talk to Bill Gates about
the thing.
shutting down parts of the internet.
Yeah, I do understand. I absolutely understand a lack of trust in the media. I do. I think what our 24-hour news cycle, our constant striving for ratings, hits, views, likes, has created this system of news where it's no longer journalism. It's more a constant stream of talking head opinion people, where you're like, is this news? They're just arguing shit they found somewhere else. It's like the journalistic, the journalism industry needs a real revamping in their credibility. But what you can do is you can still find the truth, right? You can investigate on your own. For instance, the report that Russia has a dossier on Trump, right? And Trump immediately came out and said, this is fake news, okay? You can dig into that. And here's what it is. It's not fake news. It's an unverified intelligence report. Now, this was an intelligence report paid for by people looking to discredit Trump. So automatically you have to be a little suspect of it. But it was compiled by a very highly respected former British intelligence officer, right? This guy doesn't fuck around. And so I think the responsibility is on you, us, as a citizen to say, let me look into the news. Let me figure it out. And so my take on that is it's not fake news. It's certainly an unverified report.
Yeah.
But it does it begs the need to investigate. Look at our Congress investigates fucking steroids in baseball.
Yeah.
You're not going to investigate the possibility that Russia has compromised our president?
Yeah.
Russia, who, mind you, it's becoming increasingly clear that beyond really a reasonable doubt that they deliberately influenced our election, and people say, well, why did they do that? A lot of people say, like, oh, Putin has a bone to pick with Hillary Clinton. That's why. No, it's bullshit. The sanctions Obama and Western Europe have placed on Russia, trade sanctions, because Russia went into the Ukraine. The trade sanctions we placed on them have crippled their economy. They really have. Their GDP has gone down huge amounts. Russia doesn't make anything anyone wants. They're a petrostate. They're gas and fucking oil, and that's it. And when we and Western Europe put sanctions on where they can send their gas and oil, it cripples their economy. Putin sees Trump as the only one. He knew Republican, a mainstream Republican or a Democrat wouldn't take those sanctions off. He sees Trump as the only one who may take those sanctions off. That's the end of the story. Mm-hmm. And so watch closely in the coming months. If Trump removes those sanctions, it's very suspect, because there's very little incentive for us to do that. Like even a mainstream Republican, right? By putting those sanctions on Russia, even if you don't care politically, you still are helping the United States natural gas industry. You know what I mean? There's really no reason to take them off. So if Trump takes them off, it's very suspect, because he hasn't divested his business. He doesn't release his tax forms. We don't know what kind of benefit he's going to get from that.
Yeah.
It's very, and I don't want to make this a fucking political cast. It just all makes me very uncomfortable. To me, it's no longer a Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative issue. It's an issue of American freedoms and the way our government's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It scares me.
Sure. It is pretty scary. Scary stuff.
Is that too political for the Rad Dudecast?
No, whatever.
Did I fuck it up?
I've talked the things we've said on this podcast. This is very interesting to me. It was good to hear. I'm not. I'd have loved to have got a couple funny voices in, but I didn't want to interrupt. But
yeah, no, exactly.
I honestly believe that people need to. You know what? Look, I'm gonna fucking just say what I believe is that if it's the same way I feel about religion. I allow you to be there. I try to whatever, but the truth is, this is what's fucking right, and you got to fucking listen. You got to listen to what the hell's going on here. You got to open your eyes and see what the fuck is going on. It's crazy, dude. You can't put gags on.
Yeah.
People's, you can't stop learning. You can't say you can't talk, because that's fascism.
Yeah.
It'll be upsetting. You know how many goddamn Holocaust movies or documentaries on Nazis that I've sat through and watched? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And you sat like, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
I would have done something. That wouldn't have been me, right?
Well, yeah, no, also, too, I'm like...
Wait, yeah, no, also, too.
No, but I've been like, I get it already.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me to have wasted so much time watching those things...
Yeah, wasted.
I mean, hours where I could have been doing anything else, where I sat and I went, let me find out what all the hubbub was about.
The hubbub in the Holocaust.
Yeah. And I can't get those hours back.
No.
So that's what, if this is to happen again, I will be furious about my time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You understand
a new
right?
Holocaust comes about.
Yes.
People are going to be like, you can't do this. I spent over 7 hours
a lot
watching
of man
movies.
hours. Well, I could have done my painting.
Yes, of course. And your poetry.
And my paintings and my poetry. I draw my lilies.
Yes.
But instead, I was watching The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Yes. Can I also say...
I never seen Schindler's List.
You didn't watch The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
I certainly did.
Did you really?
Yes.
The first 3 seconds, I was like, this is too sad for me.
I did. I said I have to watch this because this happened and I need to know this happened.
Yeah.
Because I didn't believe it for a while.
Yeah. I don't believe, though, that the things Trump does is based on religion or race. I do think he's either just dumb or he's got something behind it. Because when you get that rich, I don't know that racism is still a factor. It's always money.
No, that's
money.
that's what's bizarre.
Cash rules everything around me.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's. I really think there's some sort of mental deficiency. When you see him, it's a whole different level of like.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an emotion there behind him. There's some sort of. It's odd. I've never seen anyone so removed from like being able to be human. There's never ever a hint of self-deprecating.
Yeah.
Like he can't, even for his own political good, he can't drop like little slights against them. He has to be like, no, there was more people there than ever. Like he's just
that's happening with the fucking inauguration.
Well, I'll say that like as someone because I can kind of understand because he doesn't have human friends. Money is his friend, and that's I'm that way.
Yeah, of course. Money is your friend?
Yeah. Money is, if you ask me, one of my best friends, I say money and my checking account. I mean, I say Greg and my checking account. And Brendan. So like, I kind of understand.
Sure, I get it.
You know what I was thinking is crazy?
What?
So, Trump's going to put this guy on we're going to replace Scalia on the Supreme Court, which essentially it'll just bring the Supreme Court back to like kind of balanced, essentially balanced.
I thought it was unbalanced.
Kennedy goes kind of either way.
John F. Kennedy?
No. The Supreme Court guy.
Ralph Kennedy.
So it's essentially going to be with this one pick. It'll kind of bring it back to how it was, where it's kind of conservative, but not a given. Like they're pretty reasonable, and in fact, a decent Supreme Court. The real thing people are afraid of is within the next 4 years if he gets another pick and is then able to put another conservative. So so it's crazy because now there's this immense pressure, right, on Ruth Bader Ginsburg not to die. Like which is so weird. It's such a weird situation where like you're just this old lady who's like, if I die, the country gets set back for the next 50 years.
That is a weird. Whoever made the Supreme Court up, and I agree with you. That's a Friday move. That's a Friday at 4:00 move.
Yeah. I don't get why they go till they die. That's what a king does.
Well, it's because you could resign. You could resign, but the reason it's for life is because they want it to be so above any outside influence. In other words, no one can take anyone off. Right. So no matter what you say, because they don't want anyone to be able to be like, oh, if I decide this way, they're going to kick me off.
Yeah.
So it's for life.
Well, they shouldn't get a conservative or a Republican. They should get just a philosopher. Yeah,
absolutely, and that's what people do try to do that, but there just isn't that anymore.
Yeah, Christopher Hitchens, he's dead.
That's true, man. I also were those guys big names then? You know what I mean?
Oh.
Socrates,
huge. That was the TV back then. Words.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Plato, Socrates. Were those guys big back then, or afterwards? Were we like, oh man, these guys had a lot of interesting things to say? Because there aren't just people now who are like, that's our thinker. You know what I mean?
Mellon, what's his name?
We make them think.
The guy who we gotta get that guy who does the electric cars. Mellon?
Elon Musk?
Elon Musk.
Mellon.
Well, that's the thing. I would like to see more.
I think Mellon's a black comic from Philly.
Cuban? Get Mark Cuban on there? Just get the Shark Tank boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said it before on this podcast. I think it's so bizarre that like Plato had sex with kids, and it's just like, well, he still had great things to say.
At that time, though, it wasn't bad.
You can't get that in this day and age where it's like, hey, this guy fucked the kid. Yeah, but listen to what he has to say about justice.
Yeah.
Was pedophilia bad back then? People only lived till they were 22.
It's always been bad.
Really?
Probably.
I don't think so. Wasn't
I
bad
don't know.
in the 80s.
No, maybe. I don't. Yeah. Well, no, bad in the eyes of everybody.
It was culturally acceptable.
Culturally acceptable.
Yeah, it was.
I wonder if it fucked up kids back then, though, or they were just like, it's a part of life.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You would think it would, but I mean, they were all doing it. I don't know. Maybe they weren't all doing it.
It's a scary thing to say.
There aren't a lot of interviews with kids who were had sex with Plato that you could talk to from back then. Right. You could be like, they didn't ask questions like that, I don't think. Like, hey, are you all screwed up because of whatever?
Also, go ahead.
Greg.
Well, this is going to be a highly controversial statement, but I'll say it. And, you could disagree with me if you like. I think that we put a lot – I think there is something to putting heat or heaviness onto things, well, then it allows you. Like, I had some shit happen to me when I was a kid, and then when you hear other kids now saying it happened to them, I'm just like, what? That wasn't a big deal. But then we allow you to say, oh, no, that hurts. And then you go, it hurts. I was abused. And it's like, yeah, you were, but if you had to man through it, you bottle it down.
Well, that
live
certainly
your
doesn't
life.
sound healthy, what you're saying. But I do kind of think there's something to what you're saying. Oftentimes you'll make an eloquent, great point and then finish it with 3 or 4 words that just concern. You got to bottle it down.
Now, this is going to sound shitty, but like, truthfully, like when in the 80s, you touch a girl on the arm,
Sure.
she would just go, get off me. It was no big deal.
Right.
But now there's a thing, if you touch her, to go, you have assaulted me.
Right.
I'm not saying all of them are doing that, or that it's not assault, but it now is a thing that you could go, well, that's what happened, and now I'm affected heavily. Maybe, maybe not.
Well, also in the 80s, you were a kid. So you were touching a girl as a kid. So that's
No,
different.
but I'm
No, he's talking
about-
in general.
Yeah.
In general terms.
Oh.
my mind was always the same.
One thing that I didn't consider until you just said something like Plato was the famous guy at the time.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't normal. Maybe just because he was famous, he's the only writings we have where he's just like, nah, man, everyone was fucking kids.
Yeah.
We were all doing it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like maybe if you talked to a guy at the time, they'd be like, no, man, nobody was doing that.
we
Plato
all-
was doing that.
right.
It was fucked up, man.
We all knew to not go near Plato's house.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Breaking news, Beyonce just announced she is pregnant with twins.
Whoa, really?
Huge. Just happened just now. Get off your phones. I just told you.
Well, I know, but
I didn't touch
You
my
don't trust
phone.
me?
can I do a plug job here? You got a plug, Anthony?
No.
Yeah,
which-
it's under there
let
by
me bring this up.
Wired.
Let me bring this up, and
Sure.
I think this needs to be discussed.
Yeah, of course.
Anthony gave Greg a real lecture about his wires last week. He
What
said-
did I say?
You said, for further notice, my wires need to be left the way you found them when the podcast is over. It was crazy. Remember that? Remember when Anthony had the gall to lecture you about your wires?
Yeah, why would he? I don't understand why that's a bad thing. Does he do that to me? Does he
I
mess
was
up my
kidding.
wires?
I was definitely kidding.
Oh, well, I found no humor in it. In fact, I found anger.
Well, no, I was only kidding.
Can I give you guys let you in on the realness here?
Yeah.
I worry that what I just did to make a political speech on the Rad Dudecast is so off-brand that I fucked our whole podcast up.
No, who cares?
No, who cares?
Oh, with brand, dude, we've got a certain amount of listeners,
Yeah.
and they're not going anywhere.
Our brand is that we have
if
no
they-
brand.
Yeah.
Every episode's different.
And if they go somewhere, I was just never doing this for them anyway. This is just for us to talk and say crazy things.
Also, too, they know that we're not going to be talking about that the whole time.
I am.
So that's all right. Well, you do
no,
what you want.
should
but
be allowed to do what you
yeah,
want.
man, of course. And
You're a
I don't
pain.
think anything was said that is particularly offensive. I think you
Everyone's so sensitive.
posed some arguments that were just based purely in logic.
I am very logical.
And
great. People don't have respect
we're
for
all
that, so it's not
afraid
logical.
because it is the potentially beginning stages of maybe the most horrific thing to happen in the history of the world repeating itself.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is what bothers me because while Obama was in, everyone was the right was all saying the same thing. They were
Sure.
like, "This is the end. He's a dictator. He's a blah blah blah," and we were like, "You're crazy."
Right.
But now I'm like, wait a minute. Now I'm doing the exact same
Yeah,
thing they're
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
Am I crazy?
No,
Yeah.
Maybe
no.
I'm being.
No, you're not. And the reason I say that is because I didn't react this way with George W. Bush. I just disagreed with him.
Yeah.
I didn't react this way with Ronald Reagan because I was too young. But, but
yeah.
I don't think because I've thought
But the
of that
news
too.
wasn't like
Do
that
you
back then.
think
Right.
this too? It's your age. I was 20 when George W. Bush
Yeah.
came in office. I had just had sex. I was very excited about the possibilities of my life. But now I'm more aware of the world around me. When I was younger, I was like, "This is I gotta fix everything. I gotta just deal with me right now.
Yeah.
That's I have to." But now I'm like, well, I think I've dealt with me enough. I can kind of look outside a little bit.
No, I really think this is something different. I think this goes beyond politics because
Yeah.
George W. Bush, I'll say it again,
Yeah.
I disagreed with him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most, if not all of the time.
Sure.
But I still wasn't afraid. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
respected
Well, I was afraid
him.
that we were going to go to war.
Well, that's scary. Sure, that's scary. And we did go to war.
I signed up to go
But
to
that's
the
the thing. I wasn't afraid. I
said
know.
no.
I get what you're saying. I think I wasn't afraid for the sanctity of our democracy.
Yeah, exactly. Like with George W. Bush, I never feared. Like with Trump, right?
Sure.
I have a real fear. In 4 years, when someone runs against him, could you imagine that he'll just be like, "Well, let the better man win. Like, no, it's going to be crazy. I don't
No
know
one's
what
ever
he's
done
going to
that.
do. You know, like
Yeah.
Look at Hillary and Bernie. They were like friends. They were
Yeah.
going after it. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? Why? We're on the same fucking team. You shouldn't be ripping each other apart.
yeah, but and with the power of the presidency behind him, I'm scared for what he'll do. And I never had that fear with Bush that there wouldn't be a peaceful transfer of power. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, the attacking of the media and the saying that the EPA can't tweet is a travesty.
and like from
Totally, bro.
yeah, bruh.
Well, they're gonna get Tita's mom.
Bruh, they're gonna get
They're going
Tita's
for-
mom, bruh.
Tita's mom forgot to renew her green card.
Well, that's on her, really.
Yeah.
We
Well,
got,
but it's like a few weeks, and now she's like they're trying to do it, and it's like all this shit. And Tita's dad goes, "I don't know. They're coming for Tita. They're coming for Dang." And Dan goes, "I don't know. They're gonna come get me. I don't care.
I'm,
I'm to Thailand. Fuck them."
when you're saying this, it does make me a little regretful about the whole hashtag deport Tita's mom campaign that I've been violently pushing on Twitter. I just didn't see how it was connected, but now that you say this, it doesn't seem great.
Tita's mom's the best. No denying it. Anyway, moving on. I have a quiz.
Okay.
Oh, this sounds wonderful.
Very excited.
Hear that noise? That's new.
Give me a beat.
I don't know
Give
if
me a
I can
beat.
do that.
Wait, let's just talk again. I don't want to do anything. I don't wanna
Man,
do
you know,
anything.
I never could do. I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I could never do as a kid any of those like fun noise, like body noises. I could never do.
Body noises.
Do you know what I mean? Like
The only one I
kids
had-
would put
Oh, like the
Yeah.
farts.
their hand underneath their armpit and go.
A fart
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah, I could never do that, and then that's where I think the beginning stages of me feeling left out as a comedic voice when I was a kid, because those they were getting so much credit, and you know I had like real ideas, and,
Real ideas at 6.
yeah.
Like?
I've talked about this more on the podcast, not at 6, but when I was in high school, I told the whole lunch table that I wanted to get my vas deferens replaced with chocolate sauce. So when I came, I could have chocolate kids and I could eat them.
At what age? You didn't know what vas
I was,
deferens were.
I was a freshman. It was after we had the sex video. And then there were, kids like, making fart noises and getting big laughs. And I would get so mad. And then I told you this other story. I probably told you, and this kind of goes with what we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast. Marvin Camacho said I'd be the next guy that shoots up the school.
Yeah.
And I was just shy.
Yeah.
That's all.
I don't know.
He was wrong.
Everybody laughed.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't if it was just Marvin saying it.
Marvid.
What?
Marvid.
Marvid.
Check out this
Marvid.
guy. Yeah.
Yep.
Not Marvin.
Marvid.
Marvid.
What?
Yeah,
What is
I
he, a-
know.
What is he?
I know.
What is he? A baby insect?
Exactly. But I'm the asshole.
Oh, well,
The
I was
cafeteria.
going to say, listen, if I just heard this from Marvin, I wouldn't really take it with much credence. But Greg also at the beginning of the podcast did sort of suspect you of that, and then you went on to tell about the voices in your head, and it's like, I don't know, man, Marvin might have been onto something.
But what I'm telling you is that I'm way in control of the voices.
That's the same thing
That's-
like Mutant says when they're in the control of their powers right before they blow up the city. Because the Phoenix Force is coming. No. I'm in control. I'm in control of this. That's what a gambler says. That's what a gambler says when he's...
I've been controlling this for 34 years now. So what's the issue? There's the other thing. I'm only getting better at it. If you had talked to me at 12, yeah, sure, I'm not as
what
good.
if you
I'm
get
less
the flu
skilled.
or you get sick and then the other brain, one of them shuts down for a little
I've
bit?
been sick before.
Oh, I'm talking about real sick.
What do you mean? Brain sick?
Yeah, I'm talking you get AIDS or something. Or you get cancer, or you get something like that. I'm hoping
they
for
don't
you to
have,
get.
they don't coincide with a physical disease.
Well, if someone hits you in the head, it hits you in the head. Now all of a sudden, the Anthony brain is taking a break, and all of a sudden we got the Leper King coming out.
I don't know. That's a good point. I never thought of that.
Do you guys, you ever see Unbreakable?
It's like my favorite movie.
Yeah,
ever.
my
Let me
favorite.
ask you this.
Oh, we're going to talk about M. Night movies. Yeah.
We're not gonna talk about
We're not
Split.
going
I
to
did
talk
not
about
see it.
Split.
Well, no,
Greg
we're talking
hasn't
about
seen
Split,
it.
but I would like to talk about all the other ones. Unbreakable's maybe
It's a
my
great
favorite
movie.
movie
Yeah,
of
let
all
Brendan
time.
finish this one
It's
time. and then
such
you
a
talk.
good movie. But this is what
My
I was just
God.
rewatching it. It's a little weird that Bruce Willis has to go around asking people if he's ever been sick. Like, wouldn't he notice this?
No, I think
I don't know.
May
Go
I
ahead,
speak
Greg.
now? You've got so much to say now.
Greg, if you must.
I think like he just go, I've never really been sick, and then he's like, wait a minute, have I really just never been sick.
Yeah.
I had to have been sick. Let me ask my mom, and she'll go, "Oh no, when you're very little, you weren't either." No, I get it. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the other thing is the bench pressing scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel like he would have got to this information sooner. That he can just lift any weight. Like he was a competitive football player. You're never in the weight room, man.
Yeah, but I think you only go to what you think you can do.
Yeah.
If you have low self-esteem, I'm the king of that. Just going, I can only eat 3 egg sandwiches, but I could probably eat 100. I'm probably the unbreakable of egg sandwiches.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too, because from lifting weights that, and Greg, as well from lifting weights that
I don't appreciate your sarcasm.
when you get to the last one, it's very difficult, but you can still lift it. So then
Right,
the next
yeah.
one you go, all right, well, that's the most I can do.
Yeah.
So then you leave it alone after that. So I'm sure with him he was feeling that too, but little did he know that he could do another one and another one and another one.
Another one.
You would think when he walked into meet Mr. Glass for the first time, he would just be like, "Oh, this guy's bald. He's not unbreakable." His hair fell out.
Oh, yeah.
That seems to be
Maybe he shaved it.
rule 1 of the breakable.
That's got nothing to do with it though.
Yeah, that's genes.
Balding?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's genes. That's got nothing to do with bones.
Yeah, or bone structure.
Is it all bones? His strength is all in
Yeah.
his bones?
And
No, his
muscles and
muscles have
skins.
to be involved.
Muscle, skin. Yeah, sure, but that has nothing to do with hair follicles. Those are two different things.
Yeah, I agree with Anthony on that.
Okay. All right.
But one of my favorite movies of all time. What a great way to tell a superhero story in reality.
Could
Love
you at least concede it would have been a better name if it was Unbreakable except for hair?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah.
And self-esteem. He didn't have high self-esteem.
He didn't have great
Or he's not
self-esteem.
great with chicks.
Whoa, that was awkward at the beginning.
With the ring thing?
Yeah.
I don't understand why he did that.
Well, because he's having
He was in
problems
an
with his
unhappy
wife.
marriage.
He's desperate.
I've never
Yeah.
understood that.
This superhero stuff, physical ability, doesn't tie into being smooth with the ladies.
It might. You've got confidence.
Confidence
You've got charisma.
and being physically super strong are two very different things.
I'm pretty strong, and I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, but you're not super strong,
I'm
and that
super
doesn't
chill.
mean you're super confident.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's the problem with
Saying.
superheroes, right?
Yeah.
There's no incentive to actually be a hero. Like all of our real superheroes, look, the fastest man in the world.
Yeah.
What does he use it for? Just to beat people in races and make money. Like that's
Right,
in
right.
real life, if you have a superpower, what's your superpower? Oh, I'm 5'10" and I can dunk a basketball. Well, you should be in the NBA.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though, is those are not superpowers. You're talking about powers
Yeah.
that are just, human has real superpowers. They're just slightly better. But if you're like superpower, then you can run faster than a bullet.
True.
Then you're doing cool shit.
Yeah.
Just being
And
able to jump
we
far.
might get there as humans. It's just going to take so long.
Yeah, but look, the closest maybe we have to his superpowers is David Blaine. And what does he use it for? I'm going to hold my breath for 19 minutes.
You don't know that. You don't know what he's doing on the side.
True, good point.
You don't know if he's robbing banks or
I think he mostly hangs out at the Comedy Cellar.
really. David Blaine does.
Yeah, he's up there a lot.
Yeah, we said when I went to the taping of the Road to Roast battle, he was at my table.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't pay for my drink.
He should have.
That's what I thought.
You should have made his wallet disappear with a fist to his face.
Yeah, I
We
was-
boycott David Blaine on this podcast.
Well, that's the thing about David Blaine. What if we find out he does know magic? You know what I mean? He is
He
a
doesn't.
magic
He's
guy.
not good. I know real magicians who are
But
better
no,
than
but
him.
that's the thing. What if he does have powers? You know how pissed I'll be that he could have been doing stuff for the world.
Yeah.
Instead, you're just making all these tapes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good tapes, though.
Yeah.
Tapes.
You ever do
I haven't
this
seen
move?
the last couple.
We're trying to discuss what is okay for you to say to someone to get out of something, right? Well, I'm wondering because we were talking about this yesterday, Anthony and I. Oh, I'm sick, or oh, I'm having an emotional day. Is that acceptable to say an emotional day?
No, I would say you're sick.
No, but you just say, "Listen, I'm having an I say I'm horny. I say I'm too horny to be outside.
Yeah,
I'm too horny.
because
You
you
gotta
know how
keep me out
some
of this.
people will be like, man, my throat's killing me, my stomach hurts, I can't make it.
Yeah.
And then other people might go, look, I'm having a horrible mental health day. My bipolar is just off the rails.
Yeah,
Greg is saying, I can't go. I'm too horny.
I'm too
I
horny
can't
to go
go.
outside. I don't want to
Now, who are you telling this to?
Whoever. I can't be leaving the house like this in such a horned up mood.
Wow.
You
this
know?
is bold. I don't know.
I don't want to be horned up.
A lot of your life experiences really go against the grain of what is. You're really in a constant combat with what is
with my sexual
acceptable in society's views, because that seems to be reasonable. I'm too horned up, I can't go outside.
Yeah, you
but
don't want me out
really,
there.
you tell that to a meeting, that it's not going to fly. You got to say you're sick.
I'm ogling. I'm saying I can't. I walk out of the house. I can't even get across the street 'cause I'm staring at women. I'm gonna get hit by a car. My eyes are popping out of my head like a coyote cartoon.
Do you ever see that guy that can do that can pop his eyes out?
No, I hate all that stuff.
Oh, it's gross, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got to tell you about the strip club we went to.
When did you go to a strip club?
Can we talk about this story?
Yeah, why not?
Oh,
Anthony and I,
man.
we were.
You know,
in-
I like a stripper.
Me too.
Yeah.
We were, well, I haven't been in years. Anthony and I go. We're in Chicopee, out there doing some shows, and Anthony, he's like, let's get real high and go to a strip club. And that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So we put on our best sweatpants and Adidas pants, real.
You gotta go softies,
Shut up
baby.
like real scumbags.
You gotta go softy. You
I
know
know.
why? I know why.
Yeah, we all know.
Me and Anthony once primed ourselves in the bathroom at Pumps.
Yeah, I really
Prime
do.
up.
I think I do some stuff that's very questionable.
That's the thing. In 10 years, you tell someone that you went to a strip club in sweatpants, they're going to say you are a rapist because you made a woman feel your penis.
No,
You're
that's
paying,
different.
You're paying.
That's what it's for.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, go on.
Also, so
Go on. And when you tell these stories, get a little quieter. That's how they do it on
so-
Howard
Oh, that's
Stern.
fun.
Yeah.
That's how they do it on Howard
yeah,
Stern.
that's-
And I get sexed up in my car.
Oh.
so we go into this. You hear my voice because of this. It's very breaking up the letters.
Yeah.
So we get into the strip club $10 cover. Can't believe it. Very offensive.
Seems believable, but go on.
Yeah. We get in,
Yeah.
and then we see this woman who must be body of a 15-year-old boy, face of a 90-year-old woman.
Yeah, nice.
Just what I like.
Yeah, nice.
She then comes at us. She's throwing her best moves at us, and we say we don't want none of this.
Now,
right?
what are we talking here? Fully nude, or what are they doing?
Fully nude.
On stage,
Oh, yeah,
fully
they were
nude.
fully
Great.
Yeah, and
That's
then
great.
coming around
But we're,
you.
know,
Yeah.
we're fun guys.
We're fun
At
guys.
Strip club.
Guys,
We're
of
being
course.
goofy.
We're
We're
being goofy.
they've. I think she's getting a kick out of it. And she
Sure.
feels safe around us.
Yeah,
Sure.
because
You're non-threatening.
Extremely non-threatening.
and
At one
plus I don't have
point,
my
she
tools around
showed
me.
Greg her vagina, and he put his hands over his mouth like a Japanese teenager.
Yeah.
She just showed it to you? What did she do?
Yeah, she goes, "Here, let me see my vagina." And I said, "I've never seen such a thing."
He did. We all
Little
laughed.
boy.
It was funny.
Yeah, and then she laughed. Then she says, "I'll be right back." Right? And
Yeah.
we're like, "What's she coming back with?
Yeah.
What is this woman going to come back with?
Yeah.
A 12-prong dildo?
Yeah.
25 of her friends looking to fuck every one of us?
Yeah.
Maybe a gun.
Maybe a gun? Nope. She comes back with a 75-year-old man named George."
Yeah.
And she says, "You got to be my friend George."
Uh-huh.
And George proceeds to talk my ear off for 4 hours.
Talked to
This
Greg
is
for
hot.
almost 2 hours
Yeah,
straight.
this is hot.
The music is blasting. The women are all around, and he's just going story after story.
Every time
after
I try to
story
break
with
eye
Greg.
contact, he taps me on the shoulder and
Tap
says,
him
"Here,
right.
talk. Look at me."
Yep.
He wouldn't let me
eyes
look.
over here, pal.
Yep, I did not
What,
see.
now, what are you doing during this, Anthony?
I'm trying to help Greg out,
Yeah.
but it's also I'm too far away from the conversation, and it's too loud for me to hear or really be involved. So I just keep going. What? What did you just say? And then he has to retell the story
Yeah.
to me while I still can't hear, and then I fake smile and
Yeah.
nod, and then he turns back to Greg, and every one of his stories contained people
Yep.
that he assumed we would know
Yep.
as big celebrities
Yep.
that were not big
Yeah,
celebrities.
he would go, "You know Sam Bagrante?" And I said,
Yeah.
"No." He goes, "Come on, you don't?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Come
Yeah.
on, just you do. You do. Of course you do."
And this
Nope.
was the worst because then he'd reveal a name and we had to act like the name meant something,
Yeah.
but it meant nothing. So he'd be like, "And who do you think was driving that car? Buddy O'Reilly." And we're like, "Uh-huh." Who the fuck is Buddy O'Reilly?
You think this guy was mobbed up? Western
No.
Mass strip
No.
club?
I don't know, but he used to
No.
be a drug dealer in the 70s.
He
This
was
guy's
a
mobbed
big
up.
weed dealer in the 70s.
In the weed.
No.
Tons of weed, he said. He said he was tons of weed
This
in a
guy's
truck.
mobbed
No,
up.
he looked like Bernie Sanders' brother.
He
That's
did.
what they look like
Yeah,
sometimes.
he
did
he
look
was
like
a Cambridge guy who just had a million stories about a bunch of his friends who we didn't know.
Yeah.
2 hours he talked to us.
Love this
and then
guy.
at the very end, the
Wait,
strip club.
don't go to the end yet.
Oh, okay,
Let me
cool.
throw in one little
Oh,
piece.
yeah.
He says this to me. Because I'm like, maybe I'll get a lap dance. He goes, "Give it to this girl, child body, old face."
Yeah.
Right? I go, "Yeah, all right." And he goes, "No, come on. She needs the money."
Yeah.
Then I have now walked to the back room with
Yeah.
the stripper who proceeds to not show me her boobs or do anything. sit next to me and tell me about her 2 kids and how her husband left her. It wasn't her husband. It was some guy that gave her the kids, through sex.
Yeah.
Has left her with no money, and it's a very depressing, sad story. And then the song ended. She goes, okay, well, that's it. $25, please. And I gave her $25.
Man, I got you at this place. What about you, Anthony? You got any action going?
Yeah. I had a different time than Greg. At one point, she was doing real hot things to me.
The same woman?
Same woman.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was doing real hot
she really
things.
45
took you
face,
for a
15
ride.
And she
year old boy
was
body.
doing hot things, got real close
Great
to my
dick.
face. And I was and I had told her previous, because she was really trying to hustle me for a lap dance too.
Yeah.
And I was just being honest, and I said, "No, well, I'm looking to get higher before I get one."
Yeah.
And she said, "What?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "But like, I don't." And I tried to explain, and she was like, "I don't want to deal with this."
Yeah, yeah.
And then at one point, old George guilted me into one too.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, "All right, fine."
That's her ringer, I
Yeah,
think.
Yeah. So then
It might be her dad.
she's doing the
Very
she's doing
well
the
could be.
dance, and she's getting real close to my face.
Yeah.
And I said, "You're gonna get yourself in trouble." and she said, "What does that mean?" And I said, "I don't know. I think that's just the thing guys say." And then we both laughed about that.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, she was like, "Now, were you really high?" And I said, "No, no, I'm just bored." George talked to me for so long.
George ruined it.
Yeah. And that was
George.
it.
Sweet guy, though.
Cool.
Any other circumstance. Can I also share one more story? I know I want
course.
to do 2 in a row.
I think you should.
Because you're going to love this one because you were there.
Yeah.
And I already told you.
Okay.
And you already love it.
Yeah, that's
So I'll tell it to Brendan.
oh great.
I'll face my way over at Brendan.
Sure.
So we go into this town, right? This is a fucking... What's the name of this town, Anthony?
Uh,
Northampton?
Oh, Northampton.
Northampton. Now, this is a liberal city. Libtards. Drink the room... The streets
Cucks.
are covered in cucks and tears. No one goes thirsty there from the liberal tears you can drink. We go into this coffee shop that looks like Bernie Sanders and Jill Stein gave birth to it. That a coffee shop came out of Jill Stein's pussy, and it was run by lesbians, whom I love. We get into the coffee shop. Like, G-man, I got to do my class. I got to take a shit. So I go into the stall,
Classic.
taking a giant poop.
Yeah.
I look to my left. There's a box, and it says, "Place all feminine products here."
Sure.
I go, "What the heck is this?" And then I realize, I go, "This is an amazing liberal city. They're letting any sex, any gender in any bathroom.
Mm-hmm. I see where
Huge.
this is headed.
Huge. No, I don't think you do, my friend."
Well, I think I do.
So I walk out, and there is a woman washing her hands, and I go, she looks at me, and she gives me the fucking fist, the black pride, black power.
Yeah.
And I give it to her, because I'm like, woman thinks she's a man.
Yeah.
And she's looking at me. I walk out. I'm in the ladies' room.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she didn't stop me. She thought
You were a lady.
I was a man thinking I was a lady, and I thought she was a lady thinking she was a man.
This is great.
And we were just out progressive at each other.
I'll tell you a much worse version of that story.
Yeah.
I was in Boston
Mm-hmm.
when we used to work for the Knock, and I was they were doing a shoot with Jason Terry,
Uh-huh.
and we were at some rec center,
Uh-huh.
and I went to take a shit. I ran in there and took a giant shit. Midway through the shit, about 35 children come into the bathroom. It's a day camp running there.
Uh-huh.
I said to myself, these mostly sound like little girls.
Oh, my God.
Sure enough, same situation, except I had to walk out of the ladies' room. 35 little elementary school age girls just had to give a polite nod to their counselor and move on my way.
What did you say? You didn't apologize? You
No, I
like
said I thought that was the men's room. She just laughed, and I went on my way.
Thank God. But if you would have looked like somebody else, big glasses, greasy face,
Yeah,
they'd have arrested you.
sure, but I don't.
But you look handsome and trusting.
Thank you. So again, that's been episode 127. Listen,
We still got 2 minutes.
if you're out there
1
on
minute.
Long Island, right? Well, first let's take this in order. Subscribe to the Rad Dudecast if you're not already. Follow us on Twitter at the Rad Dudecast. Share the podcast with friends. We're gonna have a Patreon set up pretty soon,
Oh, and your shirts. I did one more shirt.
and then
There's only 3 left.
this weekend, if you're out on Long Island, Friday the 3rd, Saturday the 4th, Greg will be headlining the Brokerage. It's going to be a phenomenal time. He's one of the best. You got to get there. Google the Brokerage. There'll be tickets online. Friday the 3rd, Saturday the 4th. Greg Stone live, the Brokerage in Long Island. Then for me, I will be at Caroline's in New York City, February 7th. That's next week, 7:30. It's a Tuesday. I think Marco's coming out. A few other fans. Katie Mears will be there. It's going to be fantastic. I'm doing an hour. I got a couple of great youngsters opening up for me.
Who?
Mara Merrick and Andrew Collin, both older than me. So I don't know why I said youngsters. But
I would open for you. I don't know why you didn't ask.
Well, come out. Go to carolines.com. Get your tickets. Use promo code Brendan. And then thirdly, Anthony is going to try and tell you about a tiki party. Okay? He's going to say it's famous. He's going to start telling you it's at a real place. It does not exist.
But Uncle Jack's Steakhouse does exist.
Yeah, right. I
And
don't
it's
want to
a great
disparage
steakhouse.
them. I don't want to disparage them.
So Friday night at 8 o'clock.